This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Welcome to this special KJ and a deep dive. This week I am doing Mr. Fish. Welcome to the KJ and a podcast. My name is Kevin. I am the K.
I'm Jay. What's going on?
And I did it a little bit late, and I don't give a fat baby's pile of Richards. Because today we're talking about Mr. Fish. Mr. Fish. He's a villain. And actually, he's the name of two villains. Two villains are named Mr. Fish.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Because that happened with the kangaroo too.
That's true. Kangaroo had two different kinds.
That's ridiculous.
It was one person who was the actual kangaroo, and then the other one was like, I love the kangaroo so much, I'm going to learn to be like the kangaroo.
At least the second kangaroo had a mech suit.
Yeah, he did have a mech suit. But then Mr. Fish, he was a Luke Cage villain.
Okay.
He was a villain to Power Man. And so you know how I always pick the stupidest shit because it's just like when we were reviewing anime.
Yeah.
I had to pick the ones where I was like, we're going to fuck with this. It's so terrible. Okay. You would pick the highest rated. I would pick the lowest rated every fucking time. Okay. So the first Mr. Fish was Mortimer Norris, and he was just a petty crook who came across some radioactive material, and then he fell into the East River.
Sounds very much.
I mean, I've heard the East River is fucking nasty.
I mean,
nasty. Like you don't want to touch it. I'm not from New York.
I'm just seeing TCRI on this radioactive material, and him falling into the river and turning into a fish man.
Yeah.
Very TMNT.
Yeah. Very TMNT. And he turns into a fish man, and he gets super strength. And because of that, he apparently the Magia, which is like a mafia sort of thing in Marvel, he starts like running a branch in that area, and that's literally his whole thing. He's just a half fish man who's strong, and so he can put up one-on-one with Luke Cage. That's his power. He's only evil because he's a petty crook who got strength, and so now he's like, I got power. I'm gonna take over some shit, and that is pretty much like he appeared in a couple smaller storylines when like Hobgoblin needed to hire a whole bunch of people for a gang war or whatever. He took him, and then there was also a second Mr. Fish who was, of course, his brother, Bill Norris. And they didn't even explain his background. But he was exactly the same mutation. But he suddenly appeared in an exotic nightclub with the Walrus, who was another one I really should take a deep dive into.
Okay.
But that's literally Mr. Fish. He's just not even amphibious. He is a fish or he's a man shaped like a fish, super strong, and can punch Luke Cage and get away with it. That is it. I will pick the shittiest villains every time and the shittiest heroes. I don't give a fat baby's Satchel Richards. What I do. Yeah, I know it's terrible. And you love it. You love it so much. I know you do.
It's fucked up because I'm just thinking about the Luke Cage show, and I'm like, okay, we had Copperhead.
But you could have had Mr. Fish. Yeah. You could have had Mr. Fish.
I mean, we had the possibilities of a serpent society being formed in Luke Cage, which would have been interesting.
Maybe you want the aquatic society.
Nobody wants to see a fish.
You sure?
No.
All right. Well, that's it for my deep dive. Thank you so much for listening to the KJNA podcast. You can find us at kjnapodcast@gmail.com. Where else can you find us, shit?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Threads, and YouTube.
Yeah, you can find us on all the things.
And Patreon.
At KJNDA Podcast at that's it. KJNDA Podcast.
Buy me a coffee.
/ KJNDA Podcast.
There you go.
And that's it. Thanks so much. I fell into the East River. That's why I gotta have this fucking accent.
Fucking news, guys.
Thanks for listening, you guys. Bye.